Backyardigans Wiki. Elle presents evidence that bad actors infiltrated the search team and intentionally fed false information.
Literally staged a death threat just to keep a kids show plot hidden. Oh, it's LJ. We're diving into Hoarded Media. Let's
There. For most people, when they come across lost media, they're excited to share this discovery with the world. There are some times when the pull of the dark side is too strong, too much for our simple lizard brains to resist, and it gets them thinking, why not? Why shouldn't I keep it? Hoarding lost media is always annoying, but it isn't always the wrong choice. There are plenty of valid reasons for keeping lost media contained. There could be legal issues surrounding it, maybe the creator doesn't want it online, and there are even some groups like arcade cabinet collectors that can sometimes view a game as a collector's item, placing value in the fact that it's a one-of-a-kind thing. For this video, we're going to go through the whole gamut. From lost media held onto by its creator, to one-of-a-kind pieces sold at auction, all the way to a case of hoarded lost media that crosses the lines into antisocial behavior and all kinds of depravity that just has no place in any community. Let's go.
Of course the Juggalos would want one of their own in the White House, so I put on my best Juggalo form.
Juggalo? Ooh, a minute. I didn't expect it to be like a Pennywise type lost media. Cut it out. And let's move on, cause I didn't expect
to find out if Violent J himself will accept the nomination.
Okay.
No amount of money. You gotta go places. They give you an itinerary. You gotta get up all early and shit.
The Insane Clown Posse, the Lost EPs. The Insane Clown Posse is one of the most unusual acts in all of music. Made up of Shaggy 2 Dope and Violent J, the group is based both musically and visually on their dark carnival mythology. Each album represents a spirit of the dark carnival, telling the story of souls that are judged in the afterlife through violent, over-the-top lyrics. The duo has enjoyed moderate commercial success, but at the same time have a massive cult-like following, referred to as Juggalos. Each year, the band holds their annual Gathering of the Juggalos, and they are really not messing around with this. It's a 5-day music festival that also includes carnival performers, costume contests, stand-up comedians, karaoke, and ICP's own professional wrestling promotion, Juggalo Championship Wrestling. It's really impressive how much they're able to cram into a 5-day festival. And one occasional feature of the gathering is a series of auctions of ICP memorabilia, which from time to time includes unreleased music.
Hey, even though I don't post W content on this channel, I'm a die-hard wrestling fan. So don't tell me I'm not a wrestling fan. But I just did say I'm not. Whatever I just say, scratch that out. Just scratch that out.
In 2018, 2 separate one-of-a-kind discs were auctioned off. The Personal Stash EP and the Direct Message EP. The auction program for the Direct Message reads, "This one-of-a-kind, never-duplicated ICP CD contains 3 unreleased songs by the Insane Clown Posse. The first 2 tracks will be brand new, unreleased mixes of previously released songs. And the third track will be a brand new, never-heard-before ICP song. Holy f***, Juggalos. We repeat, this mini EP is 100% one-of-a-kind and will never be mass-produced. Win this auction, and you will be the only person on the planet to own this brand new 3-track ICP album, complete with album art." And the listing for the Personal Stash continues. Are you kidding me? Another one? That's right, Juggalos. Here we have another CD and yet another brand new, never heard before ICP song. Comes complete with devastating album art. It's one of a kind and will never be duplicated, making it even more rare and valuable than a Basement Cuts cassette tape. So, despite these listings only mentioning 3 songs, these EPs contained 4 tracks, the 4th being the same on each, Abandoned Burning House. This track was previously auctioned off for $2,000 in 2015 as an individual.
$2,000 in 2015? Ooh, who bought it? But I'm curious, who was the psychopath to even start to buy something like this? Cause after seeing the Juggalo, I don't even think they're like good band. But people listening to that part good.
Under a slightly different name called Burning Abandoned House. And I don't know, to me this seems kind of messed up. It looks like these auction listings were trying to downplay that the song was included. Because just like these EPs, Burning Abandoned House was advertised as a one-of-a-kind piece. Then 3 years later, they're selling it again. Twice. Maybe it's a slightly different version, or maybe they asked the buyer and they were cool with it. We can't say for sure, because none of the songs from these 3 separate auctions have been publicly released. Instead, each of the buyers chose to keep it for themselves. Not an unreasonable decision, but certainly one that I'm sure many ICP fans disagree with. But it seems that Abandoned Burning House might have been leaked in some form. On the DVD release of the ICP documentary, United States of Insanity, there's a deleted scene of the band recording vocals for a still unreleased song, and based on the lyrics that can be made out, they seem to align with this unreleased song, describing themselves as flames consuming an abandoned house. But all of these unreleased tracks from the band are not completely unique. There are actually a lot of other pieces of Insane Clown Posse.
How it became lost media, and how did they hide that for so long? I'm confused on why they will hide it that long and how they did it for so long.
Lost Media, and I'll save that for another day. Zephyr, Rise of the Elementals. Tornado Outbreak is an absurd action game developed by Loose Cannon Studios for the PS3, Wii, and Xbox 360 about a group of intergalactic tornadoes trying to collect 6 orbs on Earth that were stolen from their leader, Omega.
Before PS4 and 5 came out, PS3 and the Wii were like the big high game I know right now that were like dear, and a lot of people were playing the Wii and the PS more, but then it came PS5, 4, and now everybody's just playing PS5 and 4 now.
Lest the cohesion of the universe fall apart. In sharp contrast to this overly complicated story, the game is basically Katamari Damacy with tornadoes. You start off as a small tornado, but as you collect more and more, you become larger and larger, allowing you to collect bigger objects. The game was met with mediocre reviews and even worse sales, making it the last and only game developed by Loose Cannon Studios before they went defunct the following year. And before Tornado Outbreak was released, it was first shown to the public as a playable demo under an entirely different name, Zephyr, Rise of the Elementals, at 2009's E3. Part of this demo can be found in the files of the released game, and the two are very similar. Some things were just scaled back for the final release. There's an even earlier version of the game called Tornado Alley that was just a more stripped down version of the final release, where your destruction was rated on the real-life tornado rating scale, and based in the American Midwest, where tornadoes are common. Pretty understandable why they changed that one. The design documents for this build are available online, along with a short video. These versions of Tornado Outbreak are likely still held by the game developers, so I guess you could consider them being hoarded lost media. But for this video, I want to focus on a different version of the game, the unreleased edition for the Nintendo Tornado Alley DS.
Tornado Alley design, working in progress, August.
This version of the game was in active development for 6 months in 2008, about a year before Tornado Outbreak dropped. This version was cancelled and sold to WayForward Technology and reworked into the 2010 Looney Tunes game Galactic Taz Ball, which is quite fitting since the Tasmanian Devil is known for going tornado mode. But unlike the other versions of this game that are probably just being held by the developers, Tornado Alley DS has been found, but it's currently being withheld for some kind of research project on the game, and the owner currently has no plans to release it. All we have from Tornado Alley DS is the Looney Tunes game it would eventually become, and some assets that were found on backup drives on WayForward Technology's website. The beginnings of the Cartoon Network classic Johnny Bravo has proven to be one of the most enduring searches in lost media, being both highly sought after but frustratingly elusive. Johnny Bravo sees its origins as Van Partible's senior thesis project in 1993 at Loyola Marymount University in the short film.
Wait a minute, so you're saying Major Blue was the Johnny Bravo that we know to this day? Damn. I didn't expect Johnny Bravo to be like Elvis. Like, why he look like more like Elvis?
In Meso Blues, instead of an overly confident wannabe ladies man, the main character is an over-the-hill, aging rock star who thinks he's Elvis. The original idea was going to follow 3 Elvis impersonators fighting crime, but had to be pared down since Partible was doing everything himself. His animation professor, Dan McLaughlin, was impressed with the short and showed Meso Blues to his friend who worked at Hanna-Barbera. The company asked Van to make a 7-minute pitch that would become Johnny Bravo. The main character was changed to be more like James Dean, who just talked like Elvis, with some small changes to hair and personality. Debuting on World Premiere Tunes, aka What a Cartoon.
But don't act
Johnny
like
Bravo's
Elvis.
debut on What a Cartoon has been widely released, but the short film that got the attention of Hanna-Barbera has come to be considered lost, and was the subject of some of the lost media community's earliest searches. But after a decade of effort, only 4 animation cells have been found, along with a 15-second clip present on the bonus features of the Johnny Bravo Season 1 DVD. But it was revealed in a 2022 podcast that all of our efforts to find this piece of lost media were bound to be fruitless. In an episode of the What's in My Head podcast with Julian Hester, Van Partible says that he is in possession of the only copy of Meso Blues, adamant that it will never be seen online.
Saying that he got the only copy of Mission Blue, and he's not hiding it, but he's the only person that can actually see it. So basically, he's not releasing it, or he's not bringing out the mirror to see it.
This is a devastating blow, but it doesn't mean that you have no chance of ever seeing Meso Blues. Partible is known to show the proto-Johnny Bravo short film to his friends, colleagues, and students in his animation classes. So it seems that the only way we're going to get Meso Blues if someone in one of these animation classes manages to get a video of the screening. Which, seems a little messed up, to be honest. As much as I want this lost media search to come to a satisfying conclusion, finding it in this way feels a little icky, a little voyeuristic and disrespectful. Gets me thinking that maybe a video about lost media found in unethical ways might be fun. Me and my friends. The Backyardigans is a Nickelodeon computer animated music.
One thing, the cartoon version of Backyard perfect, right? But I'm telling y'all, right now, I don't want to see a live version of the Backyard Friend. Bro, like, it would be fun to see a live version of it, but it would be so creepy. Like, seeing them and a live, like, I can't see that. I'm not seeing a live
kid show running from 2004 to 2013 about a group of 5 anthropomorphic animals. Before the series was picked up by Nick, the Backyardigans went through 2 separate pilots, both of
this right here, bro, I can't stand. Like, seeing a penguin, I don't know if that like elf. I know Tyrone gotta be a moose, and I don't know if that like a bear or something. Bro, seeing them at a live action will freak any kid out. Like, lost.
Which are lost media. That, unlike previous examples, these ones seem to be hoarded by a group rather than an individual. In 1998, The Backyardigans was originally titled Me and My Friends, envisioned by its creator, Janice Burgess, as a live-action series with 4 full-sized puppets. And surprisingly, based on some of the behind-the-scenes photos we've seen from this live-action pilot, the character designs remain largely the same. Probably the biggest change were 3 meerkat characters that were dropped entirely in the series proper. The live-action pilot was declined in favor of Dora the Explorer, but in 2002 they accepted the reworked animated pilot, and The Backyardigans debuted in 2004. The closest we've gotten to this Me and My Friends live-action Backyardigans are a few live show adaptations that ran in the late 2000s and 2010s. Both the live-action and the CG animated pilot are lost. And after years of searching and nothing emerging outside of a few behind-the-scenes photos and a 3-second video that was found as part of Nickelodeon Studios' 10th anniversary, it seems that the search efforts might have been doomed from the start at best and actively sabotaged at worst. If you want a full breakdown of this insane saga, check out El Supersonic Q's video that delves into all the nuttiness of this search. Elle presents significant evidence that both the live-action Me and My Friends pilot and the 2002 CGI Backyardigans pilot were found in 2016, but have been hoarded by moderators of the Backyardigans wiki. Elle presents evidence that bad actors infiltrated the search team and intentionally fed false information, all with the hopes of preventing anyone from finding these lost episodes. There is even a possibility that a death threat was staged to get people to stop looking for the pilots and frame lost media enthusiasts as violent fanatics, all with the hopes of keeping a children's show for themselves.
Whoa! That's taking it way too far. A death threat? That is going another level. It's going from being a funny show to trying to keep a show. Nah. at that point, you gotta understand where you get
Super Mario World, Mario Attack. In the arcade collecting scene, keeping games to yourself is fairly common. Arcade enthusiasts often see cabinets as collector items, and part of what makes them a rare collector's item is that no one else has access to them. From a lost media perspective, this is kind of alarming, like something could happen to these cabinets and then we have something that's lost forever. But in their community, it's really not so frowned upon. So there are plenty of such arcade games I could talk about. But I want to cover this strange Mario game from the mid-90s. Super Mario World Mario Attack is a Mario arcade game from 1996, developed and published by Ban Presto, based on the 1990 SNES Super Mario World. It's pretty simple. In the game, Mario gets the Cape Feather power-up, floats across the side-scrolling environment, and the player has to press the game's single button to drop down at the right moment, collecting coins and power-ups. It's one of those redemption games where you enter money and bet on how well you'll do, and you get tokens based on how many coins you collect and what power-ups you get, which can then be redeemed for prizes. Winning in the game shows a picture of Mario, Yoshi, and Peach. Man, they weren't even giving Luigi a crumb of recognition in '96. Which leads me to the kind of strange part about the game, that it was modeled after Mario World instead of Mario 64 that released the same year. I mean, I'm sure it's because the art style of Mario World is timeless and much easier to develop for in the mid-90s versus the then modern, cutting-edge 3D graphics of Mario 64. There have been a handful of machines recorded in the wild, but this number is dwindling, and there is a cabinet in the private collection of YouTuber Kiaki, but they have no intention of dumping the game.
So y'all got no intention of dumping the game? So y'all keeping the game the way it is? Now it's making me understand what y'all trying to go for.
Game online.
Misunderstood, so misunderstood. My temper is bad, my mission is good. I never be labeled as good. I never be labeled as mentally stable.